Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic Monday. I thought today we'd switch it up a little bit and we'd look at some of my baby holdback crested geckos from 2020. And I also wanted to give you a little bit of an update on some of the eggs from this year and show you how they've been doing over the last couple weeks. So let's take a look at some eggs first. So as you can see here, I only have 10 eggs at the moment, which is pretty low, but it's not the number that counts, it's the quality, and we got some good pairs. So our first batch of eggs here is from Moon and Enzo, or Enzo and Moon I should say, a red male and a dark female. So I'm hoping to get some more either reds with white or some darks with white. Either way, I think it'll work out nicely, and I'm hoping something good will come out of this one. This was kind of a funky pair. I just wanted to try out and see how it goes. But I also have eggs from Diamond and Red Velvet. Red Velvet's probably the nicest red I own, or at least one of the nicest, and Diamond's a nice white Harlequin. So hopefully some high white or at least mid white red animals. Dark red would be nice. That's what I was hoping for with this pair. I also have eggs from Angelina and Vector, who happen to be very nice extremes. Maybe something will pop out of that. That's crazy. Hard to say. And then my most anticipated pair, at least for me, is Autumn and Hellboy. My male that I've been waiting, 2 years to breed to see what happens with him. He's got the weird base colors. He's red and lavender, which is kind of odd. So I'm excited to see how those turn out. The eggs look like they're good so far. Last time I talked about them, I was kind of iffy, but so far they're still good. They haven't molded over, so that's a good sign. Now I wanted to show you some of the babies from last year too, just so you guys can see kind of what I'm keeping and what I am letting go. And when I say hold back, I don't always mean that I'm going to be keeping these geckos forever. Sometimes I'll keep them until they're adults or a little bit bigger. But for the moment, these ones are ones that I'll be keeping for probably the rest of the year. It just depends how they turn out as adults, whether or not they'll be staying. So, and this isn't all of them either. This is just my top 5. And these are the biggest 5 right now because some of the other ones are pretty small yet, especially the reds. So just keep that in mind. But with that being said, let's start with our first one here. So this one is out of Autumn and Hyde. I'll show you guys what they look like if you don't already know. This one happens to be more of a lavender tone, which is kind of odd considering Autumn and Hyde are both dark base, but maybe it'll darken up as it gets older. But the reason I'm keeping this one is because of all the cream patterns starting to spread up the side, which is a good sign that maybe it'll be a really nice white or creamy extreme, which is something that I'm, trying to get into more. So that's why I'm keeping this guy. And his brother or sister here also is very similar, a little bit more patterned, but kind of the same creaminess to it. It's not necessarily white. I wouldn't call it white at all, but it is cream, and that's a step in the right direction. So I'll be keeping these two, and I'll be keeping a close eye on them, although it does look like one of them might be turning male. So then that one will probably be out, and I'll probably keep the female because I don't really need any more nice males. Next up here, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go to a red. So this is one of the bigger reds I have right now. This one is out of Julia, or Enzo and Julia. Pattern on this red's pretty self-explanatory. This one happens to be a nice shade of red so far, so I'll be keeping on to this one. Some of them from Julia didn't turn out as red as I thought they would. They're more of that dark, like deep red, almost brownish color, which is not great, but this one happens to be more on the bright red side, so I think she's a little bit darker. Enzo's a little bit lighter, so I think it kind of evened out. But some of the babies turned out kind of mucky brown, which was unfortunate. Jumping to a, half sister, half brother gecko to the last one. This is also a red out of Enzo, but this time with apples instead. Now this one is nice because it's got a bunch of portholes coming in, which is what I was kind of looking for. And this one's a little bit brighter red too. So hopefully it'll stay that way and it won't, dull out as it gets older, which can happen. If you didn't know that about red crested geckos. But the thing is about this one is that it's got all the portholes coming in, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get more reds with more white pattern is what I'm shooting for. So portholes or, whatever you want to call these white spots is a good start. Now our last gecko today is also out of Hyde and Autumn, but this one's a little bit more yellow tinted. However, it does have a nice amount of pattern, and I can pretty much bet that it'll be touching the top by the time it's fully grown, just because of the way it is right now and how it was when it was a baby. Unfortunately, this year with so many baby geckos, I didn't take, good progression photos. But last year, some of the ones out of Autumn and King, so 2 years ago now, got a lot of pattern from the time they were little to the time they were adults. So that's a good sign. Hopefully this one continues to develop more pattern. And some of the siblings that I didn't show in this video are also very creamy and have a lot of pattern developing, but they're also very small yet, so it's hard to say how they'll turn out. But I just want to kind of show you guys what I'm gearing towards as far as future breeders or possible future breeders go, or possibly some things I'll be letting go in the future as adults. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Also, thank you to anyone who's bought a gecko over the last couple of weeks. There's going to be a lot of nice geckos going out for shipment tomorrow, so just want to say thank you for that. Also, speaking of that, if you happen to be in the market for a gecko, there is still geckos up for sale on my website, and I have been continuing to add more geckos kind of on a weekly basis just as I get around to it. And I still have some that haven't been posted yet, some little babies, and I'm probably going to be letting go a couple of my adult breeders just to cut back a little bit and refocus as I get more holdbacks in from this year that need to grow up. I'll be letting go of some of my older stuff. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Next week, we're going to be talking about shipping animals, kind of within the theme of my couple of videos back about talking about how to sell them on Morph Market. I figured I'd make a shipping guide for you, at least how I do it. So be on the lookout for that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.